Hello, the last of the time value of money calculations we're going to find are the rate and time calculations. We're going to figure out what rate do I need to invest my money at to grow to a certain dollar amount in so much years, months, whatever it may be. Most of the time, and for our purposes, I am only going to use years. And then the other question we'll ask is, how long do I need to invest my money for it to grow to a certain amount? And on this one, I am only going to use compounding monthly just for calculation's sake. So on the second type of question, when we're looking for the time, I am only going to use compounding monthly. So let's look at the first question type. If I invest $40,000 if my investment for $40,000 to triple in 12 years, what rate, for my investment of $40,000 to triple in 12 years, what rate do I need to find? This investment, if the investment compounds quarterly, so my PYR is 4. I'm looking for my interest rate. I want to do it quarterly for 12 years, so that's 12 times 4, which is 48. What is my present value in this case? That's 40,000. The other information I have is I want it to triple. So tripling 40,000, that's 3 times 40, which is 120,000. And so I'm not adding to it, so this is 0. But I have a present value and a future value. I need to make present value negative for this to work. Just like we talked about on a previous one, anytime you have present value and future value, make present value negative. So let's go ahead and calculate this. Clear your calculator if you haven't already done so. My N is 48. My IYR I'm looking for, so I'm not putting anything in there. So my missing element was my IYR, or your rate, whichever way you want to put it as. My present value, my present value was the 40,000, and I need to put that as negative. My payment was 0. My future value was 120,000. And my payments per year was 4, so 4 orange PYR. And I'm looking for my interest rate. So I'm click rate. So I would need to find a 9.26% rate. One nice thing is this one will give you an error if you do not put those as opposite signs, I believe. So now the more challenging question for today is, how do we find time? Because anytime you find N, you're always finding the number of compounding periods. And like I said, for the purposes of today, and for the purposes of what we're going to be going over, my compounding periods are going to be monthly. So you're going to first divide what you found for N by 12. That's how many years. The whole number is how many years. You're going to multiply that number by C, which is your 12, to find out how many months in that many years. This number will be used for the next step. And then you're going to take N minus that number. So let's go through an example of that being done. So if I want an investment of 30,000 to grow to 45,000, how long should I invest it at 5%? And this, like I said, for our purposes, these are all going to be monthly. So we are looking for N. This is our unknown. Our interest rate is going to be given to us, and that was 5%. Our present value was 30,000. Our payment is 0. Our future value, we want that to grow to 45,000. And our payments per year is 12. And so just kind of refreshing back, this was years times our PYR, which is 12. That's the reason this formula is here. We're solving for years basically over here. And so just kind of thinking it through, N is years times 12. And so I am trying to find those years. So let's go ahead and calculate this. And add both present value and future value. So present value needs to be marked as a negative. So we're trying to find N. And so we are going to skip N. 5 IYR, 30,000, and that's your present value. I'll put it as negative because we have both. 0 PMT, and 45,000 is our future value. We are compounding monthly, so 12 orange PMT, and that leads us to finding N. And so my N was 97.51. That's how many months it is invested. So now I need to take that number and divide by 12. So that means that 97 months is 8 years. And so many months. So I know it's 8 years. I just need to find how many months. So 8 is 8 times 12. That's 96 months are in 8 years. So I'm going to take and so what I need to do is I need to take that 97.51 and I'm going to subtract the 96 months that are in 8 years to give me how many extra months. And we are going to round up at all times on this. So I want to think about this as a 98 months because it's going to take me 98 months to get there. And so when I subtract those two, that gives me 2. And so that gives me 8 years, 2 months for my money to grow at that rate. So I took the 98 from our N, that's just us rounding that. And then we're going to divide it by 12, that gave us the 8 as a whole number. Not rounding that, just taking the whole number. And then taking 8 times 12 gives us a 96. So just kind of thinking of what it was. This was 8 times 12. That's how I got that 96. And that's your answer.